Hello, good morning. Welcome everybody to our Public Play Space Symposium. Our symposium is one of the last events of our Public Play Space project, which is co-funded by the Creative Europe program of the European Union. Our project started in 2019 and has been developed by three partners. We have the IAAC, the Institute for Advanced Architecture of Catalonia, the Breda University of Applied Sciences from the Netherlands, and CLAC, which is a cultural enterprise with expertise in participatory projects, which is located in Palermo in Italy. We developed several activities that later I will briefly illustrate to you. Today we are going to have the first day of our symposium with the keynote speakers. So our day will be organized in an introductory remarks session from Walter Zampieri, which is head of unit culture, policy and intercultural dialogue at the European Commission. Afterwards, we have a brief session of the presentation of the Public Play Space experience and virtual exhibition. And then we will have three keynotes panels. The first one, the responsive technologies and playful platforms. The second one, the serious games for the co-design of the public space. And the third one, the gamification, play and community-based strategies. Afterwards, we will have the presentation of the winners of the state-of-the-art catalog. And tomorrow, we will have the presentation of our posters and selected papers of the symposium. So I would like to thanks a lot Walter Zampieri for joining us today and give him the word for the introductory remarks. Thanks.
Hello, good morning to all, and thank you very much for inviting me to this very exciting project, which is about participatory practices, the co-design of public spaces, gamification and digital technologies. In many ways, actually, you're addressing some important key societal changes and challenges that the European Commission is addressing, and in particular with the Creative Europe program. Well, of course, right now we are in a very special moment, in particular for a project like yours about public spaces. I don't need to tell you under such pressure the public spaces are right now, together with culture, actually, what is been going on these days. If we look at the figures of the crisis that we are going through is quite terrifying. If we look at the turnover, if I look at some figures that I have from a study with Ernst & Young, the turnover for culture has been minus 20% for 2021, but with huge differences. For the book sector, it's been minus 25%. For music, 75%. For the performing arts in particular, obviously 90%. That's a huge, huge drop. So some say that every crisis is also an opportunity, but this time I believe that the crisis is really a tragedy. And it was really difficult for all governments, actually, to rise to the occasion, to the possibilities that there were. Well, now we try to do what we could. And it's true that last year there were some very important decisions of the European Council about the recovery facilities and the possibilities that they are now and they are starting for the real recovery. It's true that there was also a significant increase for the Creative Europe program and for culture in general. Now we have some about 2.5 billion euros, which is quite a significant increase to the previous one. But when it comes to the program itself and what to the job, the work that we do, what have we done? Well, we have hundreds and hundreds of projects. In my unit, we manage some 600 on a everyday basis. And what did we do? Well, we try to help them to survive. Project like yours, of course. Every project means a contract. So every time there were amendments, we modify the contracts continually. We change the activities, we change the duration of the projects, we change the partners, and also we launch new calls. probably you have seen that in the beginning of this month, we launch all the new calls for the new Creative Europe programs. And it's one thing that is also important to remember for us is that of all these hundreds of projects, only one folded because of the crisis. So we must have been doing something, something good. But what did we learn from all this crisis? Well, we learned also that there is a huge desire, to participate in culture, to launch new projects, to start new activities, and also to be part of a bigger community. Because this is actually what the Creative Europe program is really all about. If we look at the previous program of 7 years, we had more than 1,100 projects for culture. It's not just the figure, the number of the projects, it's really the number of organizations that were involved, which is more than 4,500. This is what I like to think about the Creative Europe program. It's about a super network of organizations that involve hundreds of artists and thousands of citizens. Because all these projects like yours are really reinventing the relation between culture, the arts, and the citizens. And it's true that cultural organizations are really eager to start new projects. In the beginning of a couple of months ago, actually, we had an online workshop, which was supposed to be a small workshop with organizations that wanted to share best practice and learn new ways given the situation. We thought it was going to be a small workshop, but we had more than 400 participants, and we could really see the desire to look for and find new audiences, the enormous acceleration that has been, of course, in digital practices, like also in your project. And the challenge to find your own space in a cyberspace, which is unlimited by definition, but where it's also very, very difficult to get lost. But many did find a new audience, many have found new partners, and they develop and make greater the space where they're working together. Local events, by definition, their events are always local, no? But they also found a European resonance. Festivals have, became some sort of movements over time, finding again new partners. And the important thing is that people are also responding. This is the paradox also of this crisis, not because it demonstrated how fragile culture is, but also how central its role is in our lives. So culture will help us through the recovery process, which will start no moment too soon. Now we are in a world that is scarred by fear and isolation, but people need to reconnect, and they want to reconnect in a physical and spiritual way. So culture is uniquely placed to overcome physical and spiritual barriers. Now, the new program, the one that we just launched, I think you will find it particularly interesting. We didn't make huge changes in the sense that there was no revolution. We didn't change all the things that are working well, but there are some interesting changes, I believe, that you will also find interesting. There is a higher co-funding rate, for instance, for small projects. We also give them an incentive not to come together, because we are proposing now for cooperation projects an intermediate category. Now you know it very well, probably. There are small projects, 200,000 euros, and large projects, very large partnerships for 2 million euros. Now we have created this intermediate category with 1 million euros of funding and about 5 partners. So it's an incentive also for smaller projects to grow, to find new partnerships. The objectives are also clearer, I believe, and they are also very relevant for your projects because they're about co-creation, partnership, obviously, but also the ambition to accompany the cultural sectors in the digital and environmental transformation. This is quite important, I believe, because there is a special role for culture in make us to understand really the great societal challenges. I think that only with the mobilization of culture, we can really understand the scale of the transformations that we are facing. So the fact is that culture and the arts have this possibility. They can bring even enormous challenges to a human scale. They can make us to understand. And central to Creative Europe is the relationship between people. Public space, what you're doing, what you'll be discussing today, is also where persons and individuals become citizens. So I believe that this is a program, and also your project, are fully aligned with the great, this broad political lines of Europe, without giving, indications that are too stringent, because actually freedom of expression remains one of the most important of our values. We are trying to give some directions for our projects. And the fact is that, the cultural world wants to respond to these challenges. They want to be part of it. And let's also not forget that this crisis, sudden as it was, has also acted as an amplifier, a magnifier even, of trends that are already growing. The fragility of safety nets for many people, including often the artists, borders that are becoming more and more sealed off, and digitization, with all its promises, all too often can lead to people sorting themselves out in echo chambers. The fact is that even before the crisis, we know that culture was undergoing a transformation, often a painful one. But by supporting this transformation, we believe that we can also transform our societies and economies. So the vision and the ambition have to be to drive a sustainable and transformational recovery. Even the president of the commission, I believe, said it very clearly, when she said that this is not just an environmental or economic project, it needs to be a new cultural project for Europe. And projects like yours are fully part of this ambition. They are part of this new cultural project for Europe. And when you tap into the transformative power of culture, you're also transmitting that energy to the citizens. So the starting point, as I said before, is that culture is the most important factor for creating a sense of community. The fact is that every time that we run a cross-European survey, a Eurobarometer, we put the question, what does create a feeling of community among citizens? And culture tops the answers always, comes before the economy, before values, history, or geography. So we need to develop the cultural capabilities of our citizens, as is also one of the key objectives of the new European Agenda for Culture, which is at the basis of our program. But we also know that about a third of European citizens do not participate at all in cultural activities. So this is the challenge. It's also a huge opportunity. It's a third of the citizens that we can reach out to. If I come with a personal reflection, actually, I've quoted the president of the commission, but if I look at when I started my career in the European institutions, which was about 20 years ago, we were all focused on the goal of making Europe the most competitive knowledge-based economy in the world. We made some progress, maybe not enough. But now, if we manage to tap into the energy, if we want to tap into the energy of the transformative power of culture, I think we could set another ambition, and the ambition would be to become the most progressive culture-based society in the world. This is a vision I'm sure we can also share together, and it's something that with our limited means of the Creative Europe program, we would like to achieve. So thank you very much for this invitation, and it's extremely important for me to know what you're doing, because it really matters for everything that we want to do. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Walter Zampieri, for your words about the program, which we found great. We received a great support. Also, we wish you best luck for the new program that we found very exciting with all its new features and
yes, you have a perfect.
It's great.
Yes, thank you again. Thank you.
So I would like to invite you also to follow next session, in which we will present our main outcomes of the project. Yes. I'm going to give the first presentation about the general framework and the activities that we have done within the project. After me, Nick von Apeldoorn from the BUas University will introduce the work that they have developed, and Davide Leone from CLAC. And after this introductory session, we will have the three panels, which will be introduced by my colleague Marco Ingrassia, that is also working on our project. So I'm going to share with you my screen and to give you the introduction. Host disable participant screen sharing. So I need authorization to share my screen. Okay, great. So voila, share, and I'm going to go in the presentation. Great. So as told, our project, the name of our project is Public Play Space. Let me see how can, okay, great. So our project promotes innovative and creative practices for the co-design, and the co-design is a key aspect of our project. Co-design which has to be inclusive, cohesive, and towards a sustainable public place. And we use games and digital technologies in order to co-design the public space. So we established a transdisciplinary platform to explore how play in combination with advanced digital technologies and data science tools can be used to foster the placemaking process and the co-design and co-creation of public space. So this is about involving citizens in the co-design of public space. So we have developed several activities in order to develop our program. We developed a state-of-the-art catalog, which is a collection of best practices. We had 3 creative and capacity building workshops where with our students and citizens, we co-developed some games for public space co-design. We had some open games event in which we were experimenting these games with citizens. We have our online symposium, which is today's event. And as a last activity in September, we will launch a book on the public play space experience. And all the materials and all the informations about the activities are available on our project website. So first of all, as told, we were developing the state-of-the-art catalog and wiki platform. This is a catalog of best practices where you can find pictures, so you can find the authors, the explanation of how does it work, the game for co-design of public space, and you can find a sort of classification of the different projects. So the state-of-the-art catalog is uploaded on our website. Is a PDF, and you can download it and read about our best practices. Then all the projects are also collected in our wiki platform, which is a community platform. It is an open source online platform where also people can upload new projects that they would like to share with a wider audience. There you can find all the projects of the catalog and much more projects. So our state-of-the-art catalog and wiki platform are organized in 4 sections: the environmental awareness, collective design, storytelling and learning, and decision making. And each program is categorized according to a series of categories. When you click on a category, you can find all the projects that are collected in the platform related to that specific category that you could be interested in. Then we had our creative and capacity building workshop. In every workshop, we had several students which were developing games for co-design. Here you can see, for example, 2 games which have been developed within the workshop of IAAC. We have the Urban Sweeper game, where people jumping on a sort of platform could co-design the public space. And we had the Locus Lux game, which was aimed at co-design of green spaces in the city. All the information of these projects and much more projects are also collected in our website. We were having our open game events, which are the participatory activities that we did with people and citizens. We had an open game event in Palermo, which is called Generation Heart, where we involved several people, including people that are normally excluded from this kind of participatory processes. We had in Barcelona the project Lumina Foresta with citizens that were gaining awareness about greening the space, and they were also equipped with some seed bombs to take a practical action in the co-design of the public space. And we had also the Breda workshop, from start games to smart city planning, in which people were experimenting and using the games for co-design of the public space. Here you can see some more images of our installation in Barcelona to gain more awareness about the impact of planting new plants for decarbonization in cities. Here you can see a bigger image of the open game event in Palermo, and another one from the Breda open game event. Here again, some images from the open game event in Barcelona, our installation for awareness raising, and the seed bombs that were distributed to the citizens. This installation will be also installed this year in the Llum Festival in Barcelona, which is a big festival that will occur in November in the public space, with a bigger audience that will be enabled to participate, to gain awareness, and also to be equipped with the seed bombs for the renaturalization of Barcelona. And we had also several collateral projects. So we were sometimes invited to participate in events in our participant cities. In this case, for example, we were invited to participate in the parking day in Barcelona. And specifically for this event, we were developing this game. It's a board game which was manufactured in Fab Lab Barcelona, and where people could choose some cards to express their wishes about what they would like to install in the public space. We had camera trackers that were collecting information about the decisions that were taken by the citizens in order to generate maps about the wishes of the citizens. And we have online our virtual exhibition. So this is aimed at disseminating the knowledge that we generated in these 2 years of the project. In the virtual exhibition, you can find it online and access at it from our website, and this is and it includes the placemaking parade. This means that we have a sort of map, and in this map you can choose some spots, and there you can learn about real practices that were implemented in these participatory practices that were implemented in this part of the city. So here you can see a video. You can choose the location, have a look to the space, and learn more about the participatory process that have been developed in this area. There are, in our 3 cities, Breda, Palermo, and Barcelona, several examples. You can have a look in our video, in our website, and learn more about these experiences. And finally, we are going to publish, as I told you, the book about the whole public play space experience, and it will be available on our website in September 2021. So with my overview of our project, I'm done. I will stop sharing. And I would like to leave the floor to our colleague Nick from the University of Breda that will illustrate the Breda experience. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Chiara. If you look at this, it's a very nice overview, especially if you consider what we did during COVID time. We still managed to do so many things. And for me, this is a very important project. I'm a game fanatic as a child. I always loved playing board games. And later on, I became an urban sociologist. So I was always fascinated by culture and behavior of people in public space. And then if you look towards the future, technology is going to be more integrated in our daily lives, but it's slowly also going towards the stage of public space. And technology is just a tool in itself. You can make it do whatever you want to do, but how it changes society is up to us, to the people. And if we think about technology acceptance, therefore it's so important to consider that it's either super useful to the people or it's very fun. And I think that is where the huge potential of games for public spaces are, because it's fun and therefore people are willing to use it and are going to use it. And therefore they can change society also for the better, to make it more participatory, more inclusive, and is able to reach a wider audience of people to think about what we need. And for Breda, this has been a very important project which came right on the perfect time, I would say. At the same time, we were developing digital twins. So a lot of data-driven maps and technology products that can really simulate behavior and especially mobility behavior in cities. But people don't think in numbers, people think in stories. And I think that is exactly where the power of play comes in, because you can offer people the opportunity not only think about the numbers, but also experience a similar experience and then have a discussion about it and say, like, is this what we want as society? Is this how we want to move forward? And that is what I think is crucial. And 2 years ago, our university all moved to our new building. So now we have the Game Academy right on top of our building. And I work a lot with my colleagues over there. And we actually, because of this project, are already generating multiple new projects that really dive into the dimension of technology and play. And this project, in a sense, helps us shape these ideas on what we want with it and how we can move forward with it. Now it can be a big benefit to society in the end. And for me, that makes this project one of my favorites to work on. This was very short, my main experience. David, can you tell us a bit more about your experience?
Thank you very much, Nick. I am Davide from Palermo and CLAC. We are a different partner rather than BUas and IAAC, because we are a cultural-based organization. So we are peculiar in such a way in this project. However, what I want to tell you is about the switch that was inside the project because of the COVID. Well, everything was ready. It was the end of February or maybe the early days of March of 2020. And we are going to start our workshop to make a game inside the city of Palermo. But it happens that our city locked down. It means that the engine, the really powerful engine that are the cities about the role of creativity sport, there wasn't. And it means also that our workshop couldn't act as we imagine it. And it was really a pity to understand that we make a lot of work to involve people, to encourage people to participate. We had a really huge crowd of people that wants to participate to this event, but we have to postpone it. And it was really interesting to face the difference between that vision of our workshop and how the workshop was when we make it. Because in the end, in July 2020, we had the time after this lockdown to invite our colleagues here in Palermo and to make a very beautiful workshop, because we really connect our experience with different experiences inside a space that is really, really different from Breda situation or Barcelona situation. Because there is another really strong point of this project. Because when we talk about placemaking, placemaking is really is a mood of intervention that is quite similar, but it faces and tackles situations that are really different from space to space. And so placemaking is different here in Palermo rather than in Barcelona, rather than in Breda. And this is really interesting because when we make the parade, the placemaking parade, this is possible to see using the platform of Google Earth. So we are very, very happy that in the end, we also made this kind of things to provide a real confrontation between the different flavor of placemaking in these different cities. However, it was really good because during the workshop here in Palermo, there was 17 participants that made 5 different games about a space that is really near to our site when I work, and is really, really interesting also that one of the participants to the project that is inside the wiki platform, that is inside the state-of-the-art catalog, will apply to experiment its project here in this spot, because in the last day of July, he will come here and he will experiment his own game mood to make some reflection, to start maybe a placemaking process, and he will face this space that we also tackle inside our workshop. The last things I want to enlighten about this project, it was our open game event, because we think about how to make a game inside a COVID situation. And it was really difficult to arrange the things. Also because the game that was produced during our workshop, well, they was designed to act in a normal situation, not in a COVID situation. So we have to arrange another kind of game, and we have to involve some people that normally didn't act inside a placemaking situation. So we connect with youngsters, and we connect with other organizations, and we made a game that is really, really interesting, because it was about the Anthropocene situation. I mean, it was something like to find some stories using the garbages inside the cities. So why this could be considered as a starting point of a placemaking process? Because it makes reflect about the places. It makes reflect about which are the stories behind the life inside the places. But it's also really difficult to think about this kind of game inside another framework like Breda, because here in Palermo, I can assure you that we are full of garbages inside the streets. But in Breda, there are not, so they cannot play to our game. And this is really a strong point of this project, I mean, because the confrontation between different mode of playing and different mode of placemaking processes, well, it could be really good for Europe, I mean, and also for having another point of view about the placemaking and games from placemaking. So thank you all, because it was not absolutely said that an organization like CLAC could act with important universities like IAAC and Breda, and this situation really enrich our experiences. And thanks a lot to European Commission to found the project. And so I don't know, maybe I can come back to Chiara to go on with the presentation, or maybe Marco, that I see his face once again. And so we are on time, that is really good. And we can go on. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Marco,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Marco will introduce all the sessions from now on and the speakers. So thanks a lot, Marco, for introducing.